Hey everyone, and welcome back. You know, that massive decision a lot of us face, the master's versus PhD dilemma. We're tackling that today. We're going deep, way deeper than just a simple pros and cons list because, frankly, you deserve better. Especially for our international students out there. We know this decision has extra layers. And, let's be real, one of the biggest elephants in the room is, well, funding. It's no secret. PhDs often come with amazing packages, tuition waivers, stipends, heck, sometimes even health insurance is bundled in. But for masters, funding can feel like, I don't know, spotting a unicorn rare and maybe even a little mythical.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And, that funding gap, it actually tells us something important about how these degrees are structured. See, universities, they put a lot of resources into PhDs because their focus is research. PhDs are all about pushing those boundaries of knowledge, generating new work. Master's programs, especially those geared towards professional fields, they're more about giving you the skills you need to, well, actually work in that field. It's a totally different kind of investment.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be real. 5, maybe 6 years living on a PhD stipend, especially, say, if you're thinking about a family. That can feel daunting. One of the things we read even mentioned this international student. Imagine this, juggling a PhD, a family, and only one income. Talk about a budgeting masterclass.
Right, and that's where that shorter master's timeline gets tempting for a lot of people.
Just like, get in, get the skills, get to work, right?
Exactly. But like most things in life, there's a trade-off. They gave this example from biotech. A PhD grad might start around $100,000. Masters.
Hmm.
Maybe $75,000 to $80,000. Big difference.
Oh, absolutely. Those numbers make you stop and think.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Salary. It's not the be-all and end-all. This isn't just about where you start. It's about the entire trajectory of your career, job security, how much you can grow in that role, and honestly, whether those things line up with, with your goals, with your values. That's where the real satisfaction comes in.
So true. This is your life, your journey. It's not just some number on a paycheck at the end of the day. Okay, so we've tackled, like, the big financial elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to this decision than just money, right?
Yeah, you're telling me. And you know where things get interesting? It's where that whole follow your passion thing kind of falls apart.
Oh, how so?
The research, it actually straight up said, passion is overrated.
Whoa. Okay, I mean, that's a little harsh, isn't it?
Well, it's not that passion is bad. It's more that for something like a PhD, you need a different kind of fuel, something with, a bit more stamina.
Because we're not talking about like a semester-long project here.
Exactly. We're talking years of your life dedicated to this intense research. That takes a different kind of drive. It takes resilience.
So less about those initial butterflies and more about being able to just like keep going.
Yes, that's it exactly. You're going to hit roadblocks. Experiments will fail, probably more than once. You have to be able to pick yourself back up.
Makes sense. Especially given what they were saying about the reality of, like, PhD life.
Think of it this way. It's that deep curiosity, that drive to solve a problem. Even when, let's be honest, that problem's driving you a little crazy.
And that makes me think about all the international students who choose this path, right? Talk about resilience, new culture, new academic system, maybe even a new language, all while diving headfirst into this research.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. And for those students, knowing where the PhD fits into their bigger picture,
Right.
crucial.
Because it's not one size fits all. Like you were saying, if your goal is a specific industry, maybe that professional master's is the better fit.
Right. Get those practical skills, those industry connections.
Because even though a PhD can open doors in industry, the research was saying it doesn't always focus on that kind of like industry-specific mentoring.
Their goal is to create researchers, which is amazing, but those skills aren't always what gets you ahead in a company, Different environments.
Totally.
Yeah.
But even for those set on academia, it's not exactly a walk in the park these days either, is it?
Not really. They actually use this phrase, PhD glut, to describe what's happening in the U.S. job market.
PhD glut. Okay, so for those of us not in academia, what does that even mean?
Basically, there are more PhD graduates than there are jobs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That
Wow.
traditional path, get your PhD, become a professor, it's gotten incredibly competitive.
So it's not just about getting the degree then. There's this whole other obstacle course after.
And the research really highlighted how PhD programs need to change to adapt. It's not enough to just train amazing researchers anymore. They need to give those grads the tools to explore different paths, academia, industry, everything in between.
Give them options. A, plan B, maybe C and D too, just in case. So how did they break down these different paths? Because we've got academia, industry, and they even mentioned something about national labs, right?
Right, let's get into those because they each offer something totally different.
Okay, so we've got these paths, academia, industry, this whole national labs thing. But before we go too far down the rabbit hole, let's bring it back to, like, our listener for a sec.
Of course.
Because this isn't just theoretical, right? This is a big decision.
This is about you-ship, figuring out which one of these actually fits what you want, your goals, values, all of it.
Because, like we keep saying, there's no right answer. The research did a good job of, like, laying out the trade-offs, though. Industry, yeah, maybe the salaries are higher, but then you were saying about tenure track positions, how crazy competitive those are. It's a lot to balance.
It really is. Is it that intellectual freedom of academia, getting to ask your own questions, even if the pay's not as good and the pressure to publish is intense? Or maybe you thrive in that fast-paced, get-it-done world of industry, even if there's less job security, maybe. And you might have to, I don't know, adjust your research a bit to fit their goals.
Right, right. Okay, so that's academia, industry. What about the national labs thing? That felt a little more, I don't know, mysterious from the research.
Yeah. Think of them like a middle ground almost.
Okay.
So you've got these centers doing really cutting-edge research, often funded by the government, big picture stuff, renewable energy, space exploration, even things like cybersecurity, public health.
So less about, like, making a product, more about pure knowledge.
Exactly. And they actually sounded kind of, I don't know, maybe a little less intense than academia. Big emphasis on teamwork, everyone working towards this common goal.
So if you love the research part, but not the publish or perish vibe.
Could be a good fit. But yeah, you're right. The research did say the earning potential might not be quite as high as in, say, industry. Trade-offs, right?
Always.
Finding that sweet spot between what you love, what pays the bills, and where you want to be long-term.
It's more than just a degree.
Way more. And actually, they asked this question in the research that I loved. I think it's perfect for, like, wrapping up our deep dive here. Ready for it.
Really?
What do you truly want out of life?
Whoa. Okay, yeah, it makes you think.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the, I don't know, the details, the salary, the title. But that question, it cuts right to what matters.
What kind of impact do you want to have?
What does your ideal day look like? Where do you see yourself in 10, 20 years?
It's about making sure your career actually, fits your life, not the other way around.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, your homework is to do some soul searching. What matters to you?
Don't just research the degrees. Research yourself.
Talk to people actually working in these fields. Ask the tough questions. And remember, this isn't just about picking a degree. It's about designing a life that you're excited about.
Couldn't have said it better myself.